I'm going to do this sporadically throughout the entire stream. I just want to see the exact moment that it changes from monetized to the yellow check mark for no reason at all. All right. Hold on for a moment. Y'all good? Dave, I was wondering when you was gonna bring your head in here, man. I haven't seen it, so it's gonna be me watching it live. I watched until Abba asked who is the saint in the center. And then I saw that Destiny was gonna play a clip of his other one, and then I paused it and said I'll go live and talk about it. So it'll be a live reaction because I haven't seen it. But hold on, man. Let me get my bump out the way. What I thought was funny is yo, let's be honest, man. I was being very fair in my video of Destiny versus Saint and Sinner. And in being fair, 89% of it was saying negative things about what Saint and Sinner was doing. Because in my subjective opinion, the Saint and the Sinner was doing far more worse things than Destiny. I just found it funny that if 89% of what I'm saying is negative things about the Saint and the Sinner, there's some people from Destiny will come to my comments and just try to defend some of the things that he did. I'm like, bro, like, are you watching the video? And then they were saying things that I said in the video. So I'm like, okay, they like somebody, they're fans, so they're following over to not even objectively listen to someone. They're just following over, and as soon as they hear something, they're just typing. Uh, what's up, Finici, my mans? What's up, Caliber, man? John just be letting anybody in here. Yo, what was funny? One guy was like, yo, timestamp 1 minute to start the video. Bruh, I ain't never in the history of YouTube seen somebody go live, and as soon the split second they're live, they start on the topic. Normally they wait for some people to get in, or they say hi, or they mention they merch. They do some kind of an intro. I've never seen someone as soon as it says you're live, okay, here's the first topic, and just start talking to themselves. Like, what are you talking about, man? What's up, Miss Crystal Renee? Y'all make sure y'all check out the song that I got with Crystal Renee and Mickey Fax. I just posted on here yesterday. And I think I just posted on Instagram like 30 minutes ago. Uh love it, man. It's sort of like I've always been a fan of Mickey Fax. All the way down to his Mickey Mouse album, his concept album that he did, man. So it was sort of like a dream come true to like go line for line and be able to spit bars with Mickey Fax on a record. And I always wanted to do I always want to do a song with Crystal Renee from the first time I saw her sing it on YouTube. I hadn't even heard any of her music. Just I heard as soon as I heard her sing, I was like, what? Oh, and she in Atlanta? Nah, Shawty, we gonna have to goddamn do the thing, Shawty. But yeah, I'm gonna do something first before I do the ABBA and Destiny. So when I woke up this morning and I was ironing my clothes to get ready to go to work, um, I was watching Destiny on Jesse Lee Peterson panel, and it was around the time when Trump was running for office for the second time, but before he lost. And he was on a panel with a bunch of far right wing Republicans, one racist guy, and one black guy running for office. They were all Republicans, whole room filled with Republicans, and just as far as the art of debate is just something I saw that I wanted. I was gonna do the whole video on that until I saw ABBA and Preach going over the saint in the center. So what's up? Please answer my name. I watch Destiny all the time, been for years, and it's awesome that now you're reacting to it. So I've been binge watching Destiny a lot. Like all his videos come up, I've been watching them, man. And I think it's funny the way he when he debates like on panels. I think it's very funny because I've never seen somebody just sit there and just chill in one pose. And no matter how passionate they're feeling about somebody saying something wrong, they still just sit there until you ask them a question. It just makes me laugh. It's almost to me so far because I'm new with watching Destiny, but it's almost like it's two different Destinies. It's the extremely nerdy Destiny in the glasses with the short haircut who just chills and waits to just like to say his points against his opposition. And then there's the scruffy, long-haired Destiny on his panel who has no problem just going all out to destroy you. I like both of them, but I like the little nerdy one better because it adds humor to it. It's funny to me. But I like a lot of his viewpoints. I don't agree with everything. If you agree with everything somebody say, you might need to check yourself. That's not normal to agree with everything someone says. But I like Destiny. So far, I like Destiny. I don't know, some crazy stuff might come up, you know. So I'm just saying, so far right now, I like Destiny. There's a lot. It's not just him, but he has so many YouTubers on his channel, and they all are so very opinionated. And for the most part, there's some dumb fucks over there, but for the most part, it's some people who, a lot of people who know how to articulate and say how they feel and back their stuff up with evidence. So it's nice to see a hub where a lot of different contrasting ideas can go. That's the best part about watching Destiny's channel. There's a lot of different viewpoints, but I'm gonna get into this clip where he's on his panel to do that first, so we can get into the Ava and Destiny reviewing Saint and Sinner. Before I do that, I did see Saint and Sinner's rebuttal video to the live stream he did with Destiny, and it's it's kind of confusing because on one hand, I like that he tried to be calm and tried to switch it up and lower not so many ad hominem attacks. Uh, but on the other hand, like it seemed like there was a soft veiled threat on Destiny's life, which is crazy, yo. It's crazy to take it to that far fetch. And I had a phone call with my friend today. He watched my stream that I did reviewing Saint and Sinner against Destiny. He watched both of them. Shout out to my boy Tony, man. And we was talking today, and he asked me my opinion on Saint and Sinner. And I said, my opinion, my subjective opinion on Saint and Sinner is that I get you're looking for subscribers, and I get that being polarizing can be a tactic. But at the same time, the problem that Saint and Sinner has is he wants to cater to two audiences. All that childish, immature stuff, the name calling, the fanatical stuff, that does work in sort of the red pill community. But like also he fathoms himself as a very intelligent guy that can go at it with other intelligent people. And when you start coming out of the sort of red pillish kind of community and you start going into a more generic, vast world that everybody can see you, that stuff just makes you look childish to really intelligent people. And so his issue is he wants to cater to two different audiences. He feels in his head from what he's seen on YouTube, the fastest way to grow is to be very polarizing and say these demeaning things. But at the same time, if your goal is to go at it with all of these big people that has been here for well over a decade that really know how to articulate themselves, you're gonna have to pivot away from that. And I think he's having trouble. He don't know how to do both at the same time. And so a lot of the methods he thought that was going to work to just uh, dump on top of dump on top of dump on top of all of these attacks on someone's character and all of this stuff. Uh, if you have practiced and focused on that alone for such a long time, then you either never had the skills to really know how to debate someone's actual viewpoints, or you're forgetting the skills that you had at debating someone's viewpoints. And I tried to go back. I haven't been watching him that long. I've been watching Saint and the Sinner maybe 2.5 months, Destiny for 1 month, but the real big focus on Destiny been the past week and a half. But when I go back on Saint and Sinner, I'm like, yo, has he, if we move all the attacks out of the way and we just look at the points he's making, is there any video I know where he's making actual points? And there is, even on the DJ Academic videos, even though he calls them names and call them fat and all that stuff, there was specific points that he was making. Even when he talked about just mid view, he popped up and was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is the success of DJ Academic shows you where hard work can get you." And he wasn't, it wasn't as a compliment, but he was still telling the truth. Like, DJ Academics never got any sleep. It's like what made him catch on to the audience. He was saying, like, you don't have to have talent, you have to have hard work. I'm surrounded, and me included, by a lot of super talented people that don't make it that far because they aren't, or we aren't putting in the actual work that needs to be done. So the majority of the people that you see are hard workers. We talked about this before, as I made a film 2 years ago, and we were trying to make sure we do everything correct to put our movie we made out. Whereas there are other people who don't care to have the best camera work, have the best everything, to do everything perfect. They're just pumping out movies, pumping out movies, pumping out movies. And they're putting out so many movies. They're getting in the community. They're meeting bigger people. They're getting on Netflix. They're getting on Tubi, and it's not a result of the talent. It's a result of their hard work. So I can go and pinpoint things. So if I can go and pinpoint things that I know that Saint and Sinner has it in him to debate, then I come back to what I said earlier, and I just feel like when you have a focus so much, or just putting people down, I'm gonna get somebody famous on my stuff, I'm gonna be polarized, I'm just gonna put them down, then you're forgetting the actual skill set that you once had, and it's kind of a shame, you know. Um, Saint isn't red pill. He bought the red pill from the other side. Like, yeah, you like to come on my channel, Thomas Walker, and you like to say stuff we already know about. Like, you left like 10 comments on my video, and I'm like, every time I'm ready to reply to it, I'm like, if he just watched for 30 more seconds, he'll see that I said that. But yeah, we know that he barks at the red pill. Been watching Satan Center. But he is in the red pill community. He's over there with those guys. And some of his viewpoints are the same as some of those guys on that are red, consider themselves red pill. He just wants to do it differently. In the way that he puts down men, or look at beta and call people weak. There are certain things that he does say that does align with red pill, and there's certain things that he says that does not align with the red pill community. Here you go again. Like, you have a history of doing this, Thomas Walker. You said the Saint privately live. We already know that he lost instantly. I said that a billion times. Are you like a really hardcore Destiny fan that you just want to come and big him up so fast that you don't even listen to what people are saying? You always say stuff that we've already said and we already know. Yeah, that rebuttal video was heavily edited and gaslighting trash. Uh, and it's funny, Solo TV 84, when you say he's only smart when he controls the narrative. That's what I was talking about on the phone with my friend. I was like, it seems like he felt he had these three things. If Destiny comes on my channel, then I'm gonna play the clip of him contradicting himself. Destiny already answered that, and if you look at the actual details, Destiny never contradicted himself. He's saying that, if you sell something for just what it is and get paid, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you sell something promising people in the future they're gonna make millions of bucks or whatever, then you're being dishonest. So he never really contradicted himself. So I've only been to Destiny because of this channel. And I also said this right here, because just from watching the Saint and Sinner and watch him obliterate other people just by harshly putting them down, I see the arrogance and the confidence that he has. But when those guys came on the stream from Destiny Channel and they were making fun of him for saying he can do it from the command prompt, like, swag left. Like, he wasn't as confident. He was a little shook. And I only saw him shook. I saw him shook when Destiny people came on to clown him, and he didn't know what to do. And there was another guy. I told y'all there was a small YouTuber that found out a lot of stuff about his life. Destiny kind of found it when Destiny found that Fledge app or whatever that app is called, but Destiny didn't go into full details. This guy broke that down in full details. He actually found the guys. He actually found the investors for that app, the amount of money the investors put in, and that the app never sold, the app never went anywhere. That he really, really did a hardcore thing. And that's what I was talking about. If anybody sees this, anybody big sees this, they're gonna, like, the Saint and the Sinner is gonna have a problem. He only got away because that guy was small. The guy channel I was talking about is called Duke the Don. And I'll put Duke the Don's link right here if you want to check it out. He's been on Saint and Sinner's heel for a long time. That's the link right there. I just posted in the chat because I always forgot his name. But of course, Duke the Don really does not like Saint and the Sinner. So I knew if Destiny went against Saint and Sinner and Destiny audience clown him, I knew Duke was going to cover it, and he did cover it. So without further ado, let me go into pull up this clip. This was from this morning, so hopefully I got it right on the timestamp of where I want to begin. Jesse Lee Peterson, and then after this quick clip, I'll get into the Abba and Destiny. I would say Abba and Preach, Abba and Destiny reviewing Saint and the Sinner's soft threat, kind of a threat he made to Destiny, which is crazy. Like, that's what I'm saying. You can't say I'm superior and intelligent and debate anybody, and then after you debate, you say someone should be wiped off the face of this earth. I don't know. Like, he really needs to sit back and think what his strategy he wants to do on YouTube. Do you just want to appeal to the low-hanging fruit and get your jokes in, and hopefully this can pull in more people to subscribe to your channel? Or do you really believe the words you say? Do you really believe you can hang in there with people who know what the fuck they talking about? Because it doesn't seem like that with the way he's going. It just doesn't seem like that to me.
So are you concerned about voter fraud? The Democrats want them to mail in their ballots. They want early voting and all this crap. Are you concerned about voter fraud?
As a candidate, no. And the reason why is because I got Democrats voting for me too. We've done a pretty good job of running a very solid campaign. We got a lot of support from everybody. I'll be concerned about voter fraud if I lose, and then I'll be like, it's voter fraud, and then we'll have to do a recount and pay for that. But for right now, no, I'm not worried about voter fraud. I can't worry about voter fraud. I have to worry about creating new voters, gaining more support, and getting more people to vote for me regardless of political party preference.
It's already being reported that people throwing ballots away.
As long as they don't throw mine away, I don't care. Like, I just need the most numbers at the end of the day.
Oh, okay. Are you concerned about that, Dustin?
No, I'm not concerned at all.
Why not?
Because I don't think any voter fraud happens in the United States in any measurable way.
Are you?
I was going to disagree with Destiny until he said the last sentence, in any measurable way. It would just be completely naive to think that 100% of every single vote in the country was valid. There are going to be errors anywhere, but just to say that in any measurable way, I agree with Destiny every time they look into it. Also, the only problem I have with the right is that if Trump would have won, they would not have said any voter fraud. So you sound like a child. If we win, it's cool, but if we lose, it's not cool. If you really believe in voter fraud, you should care about it passionately, even if your candidate wins. But they only care about it if their candidate loses. So that just seems weird to me.
You on pot? What's
in 2016, Trump put together a commission to look for voter fraud and election fraud in the United States, and he didn't find either. He disbanded it with no results.
No, they found some.
Nope, they didn't.
Didn't they find some voter fraud?
Recently, there were like 13 ballots that got tossed because they weren't filled out properly.
Recently?
The idea, within the past few months, I think. I don't remember what state it was. But the idea that there's some
Are you
widespread...
in denial about this?
I'm not. Are you going to be in denial on election night if Democrats win the House, the Senate, the executive branch? Right?
They're not.
What if they do, though? Do you think it's going to be? Do you think?
Watch this part right here.
They won't. There is no.
Hillary Clinton won the popular vote
I'm
by 3 million votes.
Dancing on the ceiling. Oh, what a feeling! We were dancing on the ceiling.
Right here.
So what are you going to do if he doesn't win?
That little pause right there, and how Jesse is so cool because Destiny's been on the channel multiple times by this point. That pause right there, I'm like, yo, it'd be awesome if Jesse and Destiny had a show together. They're so polar opposites, man. I swear I will watch it if Destiny had a show with Jesse, man.
There
Because see,
is-
Trump doesn't have an answer either.
there
That's
is-
also a First Amendment
because
issue.
there
that
is
worries
no
me, is that
if. There is no if.
There is no if. It's
If
inconceivable to
the
you.
fraud hadn't jumped, he wouldn't have broke his. No.
I hope you have a friend with you on election night, just in case.
Are you concerned about voter fraud?
Concerned, but not overly concerned.
And why not?
Because we always get overly panicked. As it's a talking point every election.
That guy's going to
It's
trigger me.
never as bad. Sorry.
What?
He's really going to trigger me with something he's going to say.
It's never as bad as they say it is. I do think that the Democrats get a point on it every time,
Yeah.
and I think that's probably going to happen again. But I'm pretty
But
confident.
didn't they have some type of election as local elections in some of these states around town, around the country, and they had some issue with voter
No,
fraud?
there was voter fraud last time. There were people being
Yeah.
bussed into various places, the same people being bussed into various places
Yeah.
voting. But there always is voter fraud. But I'm just saying, if it's incredibly close, it's going to the courts anyway. It's going to go to the courts, and then I kind of have confidence it'll be straightened out. I'm worried about it, but I'm not paralyzed with fear.
Why do you think the Democrats want early mail-in ballots
Because
as
they
opposed
always
to
they
the
cheat.
Republicans?
They cheat. I mean,
They cheat.
the stories of Lyndon Johnson walking through graveyards, picking names off and saying it's unfair if the dead don't get to vote.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting that when you look at how we approach voting in the United States, the Republican chief operating procedure is to make as few people vote as possible. I always think it's interesting when Republicans talk about voting, they're always trying to restrict who can vote, whether it's voter ID, whether it's gerrymandering, whether it's restricting when we can mail in our votes, whether it's no absentee ballot voting, even if Trump himself or other military people relied on it. I think it's really interesting that Republicans' mode of operation here is always to get as few people voting as possible, and that's been the way that they've
Yeah,
tried to
and I'm in
win
favor.
narrow.
Before this guy triggered me, I just want to this series is called The Art of Debating, right? I just try to point out things to you all. Destiny just listed a bunch of different reasons, right? Now I want y'all to look at everything that's going on. Democrats almost always win on the popular vote. The party that doesn't win on the popular vote tends to want to restrict voting. He lists an abundance of reasons right there. This is the Republican Party, the party that is all about America. But he just listed how many ways they want to restrict it. There was nothing said in the audience. This is a Republican audience. He's the only Democrat there. Everybody on stage is far-right Republican. There wasn't a sound made. Now I want y'all to pay attention to the one thing that they try to focus on after this old man said some dumb shit.
I'm in favor of that as well. I'm in favor of people voting if they're responsible, if they know what they're doing. I think that we should restrict voters to people who pay taxes so they have some skin in the game. I don't think the idea that you need a driver's license, some ID to vote is voter restriction. I need ID to buy liquor,
Buying liquor is not a constitutional right, and it's not a fundamental underpinning of our government, though. Whether or not you go out and buy liquor is inconsequential to the
That's
existence.
Now, that's where the left and Democrats going to get mad at me. I am for you having an ID to vote. You know what I'm saying? What's the big deal about getting a fucking ID? I don't have a problem saying that, I need to know that who you are. You're an American citizen. That's an easy way. I don't have a problem with you need an ID to vote. But that's not the only restriction that they make. But what scared me about this clip is that this man put another restriction, and this is the party that's for America. And he said, he wants to test and make sure you're extremely knowledgeable or you lose your right to vote. That is so generic and subjective that you will never be able to pull that off successfully. Who's to say how much you know about politics and where's the cutoff line to vote? How can the party that's for the Constitution, have no issue with this guy saying this to restrict votes based upon his subjective brain of how intelligent someone is to vote? That shit scares me. And that's what I was saying in my last video that I put up, is just some of the shit I hear people say they would not agree with if there was no parties. If you were just an individual, there's no fucking right, no left, no nothing. We just all individuals. Everyone would have a problem with what that man is saying. But because he's on stage and he's saying that he's on the right, and you feel that you're on the right in the audience, you're okay with someone saying some dumb shit like that. That's what scares me about having sides. It's like what it does to your brain.
All the
It's the
more
United
reason why you
States.
should need identification, why
Sure,
there should be security.
because it's a guaranteed right to. You need a really good reason to put a roadblock up between somebody that wants to exercise arguably the most important thing they can do in the United
It's
States, which
solely
is to
a
have a say.
guarantee right for people who are citizens of the United States. That's all.
That's all I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about illegal voting. We can talk about that if you want. It's an interesting conversation
No,
topic.
we
but,
can be talking about that all night. We're in California.
but
Okay, now I'm remembering because I saw this morning and I left and went to work. I really don't like that black guy right there who voted for office. Let me say what he's doing. This is my claim, and y'all tell me, do you catch it? And I think it's another one when they talk about Black Lives Matter. He always comes in, and when he knows he can't defend he wants to defend the old white guy because they're both Republicans, but he can't defend it. So what he does, he always tries to change the subject. Like they're talking about your right to vote. Right there, his statement was about people who are illegal and who should not have the right to vote because they're not American citizens. That's not the subject. He always comes and he's going to do different methods to try to change the subject.
yeah, I mean, voting is a really important thing. I don't think you need a really good reason to make somebody not vote. As everybody up here has already
they're
said.
not who they say they are.
Well, yeah, but that
That's a
just
good
doesn't
reason.
happen. There are ways to check and see when you
Yeah,
you
it's
show up
called
at the polls
ID.
and you
It's the
vote.
same thing you do
You
as
give
you
them
get
your
on the
name,
plane.
you give them your address, they cross you off the list, and you vote. It's a pretty easy thing. I think it's interesting.
So where I think Destiny is going wrong right here is about he listed a lot of stuff. If I were Destiny right here, I'd be like, I literally just said your entire party, and I'm in a room with all of you. I listed a bunch of things. You're only focusing on this one thing, but you introduced something that's unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional to take someone's right away to vote because of your subjective opinion on how intelligent they are on the subject. I would have held him to that bullshit since they're supposed to be for the Constitution, and I would have told him, I'm not talking about one specific thing. I gave you an abundance of areas where why is it that this party always try to find ways to restrict votes? That seems to be convenient if you're the party that does not have the majority vote. I would have held him to those things, but Destiny is going to go down this rabbit hole to only talk about having an ID to vote, which I thought the other thing the old man said was far more dangerous.
When you say like people that don't have jobs or people that don't pay taxes shouldn't vote. So are we talking about like disproportionately black people and Hispanic people there that shouldn't be allowed
Why
to vote?
y'all
then?
always use black people?
Who do you think in the United States is less likely to hold a job
Don't
right
we
now?
have like other races that?
It's
Sure,
about
but
to
when we're
go
talking
down.
about the most that are affected by poverty, don't virtue signal to me, Jesse. Come on, that's a liberal thing. Don't do that to me. We're
Well,
talking about
black-
the most disaffected people in the United States. We should talk about black people or Hispanic people.
But that's
Are
not
these the
true,
people that
though.
you? What do
It's
you mean
not
that's not
true.
true?
Black people can go vote. They even send a bus for
They
you.
can. I was just responding to his point. Responding to his point about saying that people that don't pay taxes shouldn't vote. I
Let's
think
just
that's
use a
pretty
Oh, I
different
see.
analogy. Let's use a different analogy. All right, don't stop talking about black people disproportionate, this, that, and the other, because the same Democrats that are talking about black people, are the same Democrats who said Trump was whistling to his people who lived up in the hills to come down and
I'm about to burn the fuck out this black dude.
vote for him. So let's stop talking about black people, man. Talk about something else. Use a different type of analogy.
All right. They come on these panels and they swear that they can, articulate and say why they feel the way they feel, and swear they're so alpha and swear they're so strong, and the left is so weak. But then he comes on here and he tries to do an emotional plea. Listen, you gotta keep someone on the subject you're talking about. The subject is that elderly guy is saying that for people who don't have job and people who don't pay taxes, he's saying that they shouldn't have the right to vote. The majority of people that is going to affect the most, the community with the higher percentage, the community, doesn't matter how many of those people are in the United States, the higher percentage is going to affect them the most. So it's going to affect minorities. It's going to affect Hispanics. It's going to affect Black Americans. They know this shit. And they know the majority of Black Americans, and they know that the majority of Hispanics tend to vote Democrat. So they know by saying this, you will hurt the Democratic vote. Instead of him trying to just come up with an intelligent opposing viewpoint. He just wants Destiny to stop it and use the race card. Just stop talking about black people. You're supposed to say stop talking about black people if it hurt. Like if Destiny himself is hurting black people. No, who's hurting black people is the old white man who introduced that if you don't have jobs and if you don't have if you don't paying taxes from any job, that you can't vote. Your friend, the Republican on the end, is the one, if he had it his way, that will hurt black people and hurt the black vote that you need. But you're a fucking dumbass and you don't know how to come back with that. So you just want Destiny to shut up. He's gonna do this a lot during this video. Couldn't stand this motherfucker this morning. I almost burned my shirt trying to iron it, listening to this shit.
Don't use Latinos either. He's getting pissed off right here. He's up on a seat like, say so much.
I mean, I don't really care how mad you get. Numbers are numbers. I mean, like,
That's
these are
not-
issues
that's
that
not
we have
numbers.
to talk about.
Okay,
They
all
are
right, let's
numbers.
talk about it.
Here comes the art of the debate. This is the percentage of your people. So if I'm gonna let him get his shit off first. It annoys me. I'm gonna let him get his shit off, and I'll tell you how he's wrong.
Numbers. How are black people 12% of the population in the United States, but they're the most disproportionate when it comes to voting?
What does that have to do with any of the points that I just said?
That means that black people cannot be the most people who don't vote because we don't even make up not even 20.
He never said that black people aren't the most people that don't vote. That's what I'm telling you when you debate somebody or when you're arguing, to make them stay on topic. This black guy's trying his hardest to change the subject right before your eyes. Destiny is saying that if you take away people who don't have jobs or people who are not paying the taxes because they're not working, it's going to affect the black community the most in the higher percentage in their community, in our community. That's what he's saying. So it doesn't fucking matter if they 12%, 85%, or 2%, or negative 1%. In that negative 1%, a higher percentage of those people won't be able to vote. In that 12%, a higher percentage of those people won't be able to vote. So it will, in fact, affect them. But he's trying to change the subject before your eyes in front of an audience that's looking for him to say anything that sounds good because what? He's Republican. They are Republican. This is why I fucking hate titles. If there were no titles, people will hold you to the merit of what you're saying instead of being happy because they feel that you're on their side.
20% of the population. We want to make up 12% of the population. White people make up the majority of the population. So if we have a voter and 32% of the people came out to vote, black people only make up 12% of the population, that means the majority of people who did not vote are white.
Why are they clapping? What he said is not on the same subject, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. It literally doesn't make sense. I'm gonna take my brain out and slap him in the face with it. It does not matter if there are more white people. What matters is the percentage inside of that community, how many is effective if what that old white guy says come true. And what that old white guy said was, if people who cannot who aren't paying taxes, who don't have a job, their vote should be taken away from them. That would affect the Hispanic and black community the most. But these fucking idiots are clapping for a guy who totally left the subject. Destiny, man, bro. Like, bro, I wish I was you right now, Destiny. You really let this dude off the hook, bro.
Next topic.
No, okay.
And that right there, you see what he said? That's the art of debate. He realizes how passionate he was, but he knows he's not that black guy, not dumb. He knows he's wrong. So after getting a clap, he wants to end this subject right here because he knows what he said was bullshit. He knows what he said is wrong. So what does he do? Next subject, he wants this shit over with. And Destiny let him off the hook because in my subjective opinion, like Destiny has been in so many fucking debates. When he hears something stupid, he be like, fuck this shit. That motherfucker's crazy. But like, if you can go up there and represent some shit, bro, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be willing to go through with it.
Next topic.
You sound like Ben
it's like
Shapiro.
it's like a stats 101 thing. So I don't
You
know if I'm
said
right.
numbers. You
I'm-
said you
well,
did you
yeah,
not
but
say
when you
numbers?
talk about numbers, we talk
Oh,
about
only
per
numbers that
capita.
matter to you.
No,
Okay, my bad.
first of
Numbers
all,
that matter to you.
You
All right,
can
you
say
got
it don't
you
matter
got
to
it.
me, but when it comes to
Yeah, no,
Democratic
no, you
Party,
said
the black
numbers.
vote was incredibly
You said
important. It was
numbers.
going to be the nominee of the
You
Democratic
said
Party.
numbers.
Black people
You
came
said
out and they
numbers,
voted
and I
for Joe
gave
Biden.
you numbers.
You gave me absolute numbers.
You,
so
I
don't
gave
mean
you the
anything.
numbers that are
You gave
true.
me the
You meant the
absolute
numbers that
numbers.
only
They
matter
don't
to
mean
you.
anything.
Okay, the
No,
numbers that matter to you. Let's
He didn't mean the numbers that matter to him. He meant the percentage of a community that would be affected. A larger percentage of the black community would be affected if that old guy's dream came true. A larger percentage of the Hispanic community would be affected if that old guy's dream came true. You know this. You know this. And this is why politics is fucking dangerous, man. Politics is dangerous because people don't want to look into fucking details. If they really want, I know that audience isn't that stupid. I know their audience isn't that stupid. They just don't care because they formed an idea. And the most dangerous thing is in humanity is when you form an idea and then you only pinpoint things that makes you feel more correct about your idea. It's supposed to be the exact opposite. You're supposed to leave your brain open to always be able to accept new ideas and then see if those ideas are true or not. You're supposed to always leave your brain open to learn instead of trying to find something to validate how you already feel. And that's the most dangerous shit about politics and humanity, man.
let's use that next time. Your opinionated numbers, not real numbers. The numbers that matter to you.
Opinionated
That's what I'm
numbers. I'm
saying.
talking about the numbers that are important.
If you're talking about numbers that
do
are
you think
important to
black people's
you,
electoral voices don't matter then because they're
the
too small
numbers that matter to you. What I'm saying is we don't have.
This dude is so wrong. The black guy's running for office. He's running for office and he's saying black people vote don't fucking matter while he's in black communities trying to get black votes. He knows it matters, but he just wants to beat Destiny so bad. He's willing to go this idiotic route.
Have a big say so in who becomes the president. What you need to do, if you want to talk about numbers, encourage the majority of the white people who live in the United States to come out and vote. Don't say black people don't vote, Latinos don't vote.
Listen, hold on. I slow motherfuckers down. He said, if you want to make a change in numbers, encourage more white people to come out and vote. What the fuck does that sentence have to do with the original argument from the old white guy who said that people should not be able to vote if they don't pay taxes or have a job? That literally has nothing to do with it. He's changed the subject before your eyes, and now he's going to try to be louder and talk more to try to mask what Destiny is trying to say. That shit would never work on me, bro. It would never work on me.
We don't hold the majority of the people in the United States.
About black people, Latinos
You
not
just
voting.
said that.
He gave the example that we should keep people without jobs from voting, and I said disproportionately that would impact black people and Hispanic people. I don't care about the
It
absolute
cannot
numbers of black people.
disproportionately impact black people. It disproportionately impacts white people because white people are the majority of the people who are in the United States.
I'm going to prove you're a dumbass. Disproportionately affects, which means the largest percentage. If white people are like 70% of the country or whatever, and that white guy rule, the old white guy, the end rule comes true, if you don't have a fucking job and you don't pay your taxes, whatever, the percentage of white people affect, if you look at the absolute numbers like Destiny is saying, because there is 70% white people, there will be more people. But because it's 70% out of that more people, it'll be a smaller percentage because the number is so high of how many white people there are. Because of what you just said, you dumb fuck. Because you just said there's only 12% of black Americans and a lot are in these poverty situations, it will be a far greater percentage in the black community that this would affect. Like, so what I would have done if I was just at this point, I would have looked at Jesse Lee Peterson like, it's a whole Republican audience. All of y'all on stage are Republicans. If it's just little old me and I'm supposed to be a beta male, can I at least say something without being interrupted? And then Jesse would have been put on the spot to force to let me get my shit off. Then I would have broke his ass down saying exactly what I said and in the exact speed that I said, so he would not be able to run away from using numbers correctly.
States.
Joe Frazier.
I'm glad
It's not how the
that
numbers work.
Okay, you're right.
It's
You're right. I just said you're right. What else you want from me? You are right.
Do you understand the difference between like a per capita stat and an absolute number?
I just said you were right. Next time.
Well, Joe, I'm glad you're here to understand the numbers. I'm black and slow. I would have missed the numbers.
I mean, I'm an
Intellectual
The numbers
people,
that black people vote don't matter, I guess.
intellectual.
To me, we make a dumbass point. Well, you really made the point. You try to change subject. When you say you're an account major, that only helps you if you did something right. Like that makes you seem extra dumb or extra deceitful. The fact that you're an account major and you don't know percentages.
That's not. Now you putting words in my mouth. You sound like Joe Biden. Oh, if you ain't black, you gonna vote for Trump. Come on, man. That's what you sound like. Come on.
That's another way he's changing the subject. He's trying to appeal to the audience by saying something generic that the Republican side always say. When Joe Biden said, "If you aren't black, if you don't vote for me, you aren't black." He knows you're gonna get a reaction from the audience. But again, what does that have to do with the actual subject of what the elderly white man said? Everything he's saying, he's leaving the subject. I'm trying to teach y'all how to fucking debate, man. You got to hold people accountable and keep their ass on track.
No. That's what you're saying. What I'm telling you is what you said was wrong. You hate to be wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Okay, Joe Biden's racist. Prove me wrong.
I'm not talking about Joe.
He just changed the subject for the fourth fucking time. Wasn't my claim when I first started this shit that the black guy, all he's gonna try to do is change the subject. Every single time I'm gonna slow this shit down. What does that have to do with what the elderly white man said, how he feels voters should be in this country? That if you don't have a job and if you aren't paying taxes, you should not be able to vote.
That's what I'm saying.
But hey, if he was
I just said that you were right.
I said you were right.
I know. I said you were right. Okay.
Right.
Do you accept you're right? Do you accept that?
You argue with an idiot, you make yourself look dumber arguing with the person who's dumb.
That's the first right thing he said the entire video. The only issue is he's the fucking idiot.
Let's go. No. Next topic.
No. Destiny is smart. Leave that alone.
It is pretty smart. You talk fast.
Yeah.
Talking fast don't mean you smart. Doesn't mean you talk fast.
If
Intellectual.
black people are only 12% of the population, then, by your own words, why should anybody appeal to their vote at all? Why does the Platinum Plan or any of Joe Biden's Black America plans matter? If they're a minority of the population.
That's not what we're talking about.
No, but now we are talking about it. So I'm asking
black
you,
people
why does
were
it matter?
disproportionately zeroed out from voting. Black people only hold 12% of the vote.
He never ever said, he never ever insinuated that black people were zeroed out from the voting. It's just the little things that Destiny doesn't catch. I would have caught that shit because one of my pet peeves, I can't stand when the motherfucker try to hold me to something I didn't say and try to make me to debate from that point. I'm sorry, I forgot what fallacy that was. I'm quite sure one of y'all know what fallacy that is when they try to make you debate from the point that's not yours. But that is literally a fucking fallacy. He never said it and he never insinuated it. He was responding back to what the old man wanted, the old man wanted voting to be in the United States.
Oh.
Which was unconstitutional from the party that says they love the Constitution.
The reason why you want black people to vote is because if you don't vote, they're going to tear your shit up. Have an agenda for black people. Have an agenda for Latino.
And now you're debating yourself, little black guy. If you're saying that if black people don't vote, they're going to tear black people's shit up. And that old white man is saying he wants no one to have a vote if they don't have a job. And if they aren't paying their taxes, then that's going to affect the majority of the black community. So while you're trying to take up for this dude, just because both of y'all vote are in the booth, if what that white man says comes true, it would affect the community that you want to vote for you. You dumb fuck. I wish I wish Destiny can reach his hand out and tag me in. Tag me in! I'll have ate his ass up.
Latinos, have an agenda for Asians, have an agenda for people who came from other countries who are now citizens, have an agenda for white people, have an agenda for everybody. If you don't, then you're just blatantly either a racist or you just don't care about black people.
I agree. And I'm glad Joe Biden has a plan for all of those people. Thank you so much.
The Republican Party is the party that say we always throw the race card. He literally threw the race card in for no reason. Threw the man to an idea he doesn't believe in, wanted him to debate from it, then played the race card. And they run around calling people beta. Fuck, this is disturbing to watch.
damn plan for black people. His plan for black people.
JoeBiden.com/Black America.
No,
Okay.
that's
All right.
the only thing I want to see on Joe Biden's side is I'm repealing that crime bill because I still got family members that are in jail that are
You're not
innocent.
going to do that under Trump.
Here's the greatest appeal to emotion right here. He's going to use his blackness. Watch this. Watch this appeal to emotion.
Okay.
Still
Trump
supports
just
stop and
created.
frisk.
Trump,
Still supports
Trump,
stop and
that was
frisk.
not Trump. That was Rudy Giuliani.
And he support,
That
Trump
was Rudy
supports
Giuliani.
it.
Listen,
Trump
Okay.
supports it.
Let me
Okay,
tell
hey.
you something. The crime bill disproportionately
This
affected
is
black
30
people.
years ago.
It's still effective today. So why hasn't he apologized?
So who's more
How
likely
come-
to repeal it? Why
I
didn't
have,
Trump repeal it?
I have an uncle that spent 12 years in jail, didn't do anything. I had an uncle that spent 23 years in jail, didn't do anything. I have another uncle that spent 8 years in jail, didn't do anything. You know why? Because the assumption of a crime committed, because that's what it says on page 198 of Joe Biden's crime bill, which you know all about.
Okay.
And what did Trump do for any
Hold
of
on.
those people?
Trump created criminal justice for him. That's how I got them out of prison.
Amazing. So,
Sorry. Again, I call this series The Art of Debating. Destiny lost. Destiny lost because he allowed someone to come in, use emotions, and change the exact subject to something that he was proficient in. When none of this shit happened, that's why you don't hear the old white man talking. The old white guy know, and me and the black guy are Republicans, so I'll just, even though I know he's not on the subject that I first listed, I'll just let him go on and get me off for the hook. And then Destiny fell for it. He fucking fell for it.
We're so mad about the 94 crime bill, but for some reason it's still there.
That's
I don't know.
'cause
We've
you're
had
not
4 years. We've had 4 years. No, maybe it has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with
It doesn't
it. We've
affect you.
had Trump for 4 years, and he has
And this is why I don't like either party. I don't like the left. I don't like the right because, like, so let's say like Joe Biden made the crime bill, right? And they say, "Ooh, bad Democrats made the crime bill and it hurt black people." How many fucking Republicans have we had since then, and it's still up here? And I'll go vice versa. When the Republicans make a bill that's very, very bad, and then how many Democratic presidents have we had, and the bill still lasts? They don't change anything, and y'all idiots fight each other over this shit, and they just playing with y'all. They playing with American citizens because they got you guys to believe that you're on some fictitious fucking football team. Like you're so stuck on the concept of sides. You ain't even realize like they've been Republican and Democratic presidents. So anything that a Republican dislikes, a Republican president should have changed. Anything a Democratic president liked, a Democratic president should have changed, or at least attempted to. Because I know it's not just that fucking blanket easy. You win, you can change anything. You know, you gotta have Congress, you gotta have everybody, other people on your side. But I'm like, at least show attempts that we need to get this the fuck up out of here. But you don't see that.
He hasn't done anything with it. And you know what? In another
Hey,
4
he
years, he's
absolutely-
not going to do anything
he
with it. Because what does
absolutely-
Trump do when it comes to
he
crime?
absolutely
What does
did.
Trump do when it comes to crime?
got
He
some
supports
of them
things like
out.
Stop and Frisk.
Real
He pardoned
crime. Real
Sheriff
crime.
Arpaio.
Real
People that
crime.
are okay, real
Real
crime. All right.
crime.
So whatever
Andrew-
crime only
He pardoned Kodak Black, the rapper, when he lost the election. The last thing he pardoned a rapper that had charges of rape. He pardoned Lil Wayne. Any of the rappers that had a high effect of what he assumed would be on the black community, he just pardoned them. And then he used those examples of, hey, I care about black people. The fuck up out of here, yo.
matters to whatever talking point you have.
No,
with
no,
him.
no. It only matters
Hold on.
when it's real.
Hey,
It's not a
hey.
It doesn't matter when people assume a crime because you guys crime bill. Tell him to get his head out his ass. Repeal that crime bill.
Wait, Trump's had 4 years. He hasn't done it.
Hold on,
4 years
guys.
ago,
Hold on.
Republican Senate and
So
House.
you started this by saying that. Are you white or are you Jewish?
I'm a Jew who became a Christian.
The Jews always start in trouble, huh? And then we have to sit
Hey man, Jesse, don't get my page deplatformed, bro. Chill out with this Jew stuff.
back and fight it out. Do you want to clear that up a little bit, or?
No, what my point is simply that the right to vote. You know, we've become more and more democratic, but the right to vote was supposed to be for people who had something to lose in the government. They had money in the government. Now, most people pay taxes. Most people pay taxes somewhere along the line, and so that's not going to actually do it. Steve, is what Steve was saying. It's not actually going to limit the black people. But you know,
Look how he cut that sentence off. Two things I noticed here. He's saying it's not going to do it because most people pay taxes. Most people pay taxes, absolute numbers. He's still not going into percentages. Secondly, it doesn't matter what's going to happen in real life. What matters is what you put out, what you would like to happen. So if what you would like to happen came true, it would, the majority, affect minorities and stop a larger percentage of minorities from voting. If you say this is what you want the country to be like, why would you then come after that and go, hey, you know, it's not really going to happen? We're not talking about what's going to happen. We're talking about what you want to fucking happen. You goddamn Freddy Krueger looking ass motherfucker. How you look like Christopher Lloyd and Freddy Krueger?
Majority of black people are in favor of photo IDs for voting.
Yeah.
It didn't stop any of them from turning out in places where there are photo IDs. This idea that this
And here we go again. You know, the topic was on what he presented and what he wanted the world to be. But what does he do? They go back to their bread and butter only on one topic. Remember, before he said what he wanted in this fucked up United States he liked to have, Destiny listed an abundance of reasons why Republicans try to limit voting. So what do? He makes up some fictitious thing, and he only goes back to the one thing, which is voter ID.
this is that asking people to be responsible about their vote, which, as he says, is one of their most important. That's voter suppression. That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Right.
Why don't Republicans just issue? If you think that that's so important, then why don't Republicans, alongside these bills for having voter IDs being required, why don't they just provide a free, federally funded voter ID then?
It's fine with me, but
Yeah,
why?
they've never done it though. So it makes you wonder, why don't they do that?
But almost everybody has a.
Not almost everybody.
But-
Almost everybody's important, but I'm going to use this word to trigger you. Disproportionately, it's going to be lower income people that don't have access to those IDs. And if you look at states like North
I
Carolina,
got to move on because of time, really.
Okay, sorry,
I want to ask Sherman. I want to talk about the cops and the mobs. All right, mob justice. There's been rioting and looting, violence are taking place in Philadelphia even right now, and the cops are being shot at. They're running over cops with trucks and things like that. Black Lives Matter is behind all this. Sal from Ontario, Canada, you're on the air.
Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
My question is for Joe and sort of Destiny. I was wondering, Joe, can you explain what a per capita stat is?
A per capita stat?
We don't have that in
Yeah.
America.
Per capita stat is basically like the only people who are counted. It's not the entire majority.
Okay,
You say?
thanks.
Is that right?
But I'm pretty sure Destiny has a different answer, so we'll go ahead and hear what he got to say because he's always
okay,
right.
per capita just means like a proportion.
Say it loud so you hear.
Per capita is like a proportion. So if you've got like 80 people and 20,
I'm gonna rewind it back to let Destiny get his shit off and complete. But I just want to say, it's funny to me. Remember what Saint and Sinner tried to do to Destiny? Like, if you believe in your points, why do you need to have something before your points? Like, why you need to say a snide remark or a homonym? Like, why you need to say something like, sure, Destiny is gonna have a different thing to say because he always thinks he's right. Why do you think that Destiny always thinks he's right? He's on a panel with a bunch of men, and all of you guys are giving your opinion. So why, when it comes to Destiny, you need to preface what you got to say by trying to paint him in a bad light? I've seen nothing on this panel where anybody thinks that they're always right. I see everybody having their own viewpoint. This is what I'm saying. This is shit that people do to y'all all the time when they try to debate.
Sal from Ontario, Canada, you're on the air.
Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
My question is for Joe and sort of Destiny. I was wondering, Joe, can you explain what a per capita stat is?
A per capita stat?
We don't have that in
Yeah.
America.
Per capita stat is basically like the only people who are counted. It's not the entire majority.
Okay,
You say?
thanks.
Is that right?
But I'm pretty sure Destiny has a different answer, so we'll go ahead and hear what he got to say because he's always
Okay.
right.
per capita just means like a proportion.
Say it loud so you hear.
Per capita is like a proportion. So if you've got like 80 people and 20 people, but you prevent like 18 of the 20 from doing something, but you prevent 20 of the 80 people from doing something, you're discriminating more against the 18 out of 20, even though you're discriminating against 20 out of the 80 because the person.
Fucking thank you. Now, I just want to point out something. where I say like I'll be more stronger, like a fucking pit bull on the topic than Destiny would. I just fast forwarded from what did they talk about? This voting at the 55-minute mark, and it went all the way to the. So I just fast forwarded about almost 40 minutes for someone to ask them this to come back on it, and now Destiny clearly explains what he meant. Destiny did this sort of same thing when it came to Saint and Sinner. It's sort of like, I'm like, yo, it's right there for the taking, Destiny, and he doesn't jump on it unless he's asked. And that in a debate, that can get a perception that, you know, you don't know what you're talking about or that you lost, which is part of the reason they clap against Destiny. The other part is that they're all followers and they like somebody because they're on the same side as them.
Percentages are, the proportions are. It's like a stats thing.
And that's why Democratic policies never work, because they too confused and everybody gets screwed in the end.
Wait, so then why?
There's another example of what the black guy did. Like, I fucking hate. He wants to pick on Destiny and say like, "Oh, you're a Democrat, so what you said is too fucking confusing." All of that is masking the fact that Destiny was right. Destiny, and this isn't subjective. That is what it meant, and he gave the perfect example. He was 100% objectively correct. The black guy can't handle that. He knows he's in front of his audience. So what does he do? He makes a joke out of it and tries to find another way to put the Destiny down for being a Democrat. People do this to you guys all the time.
Why were you confused when Destiny was explaining the stats earlier?
Why did
And you know, I did this battle rap review. This girl named Jazz the Rapper versus Vixen. And I said I knew Vixen lost, and Vixen realized she lost because in the third round of that battle, Vixen said something and then she touched Jazz to get Jazz approval. She was like, "You like that, huh?" The black guy just touched Destiny to try to laugh and joke about it because the black guy wants to say, "Hey, yeah, I know I've been fucking using fucking incorrect information, and I've been changing the subject a billion fucking times." I know, but you know what I'm saying? Hey man, like let's be cool. Let's be cool. Like I fucking Destiny don't fucking react. You try to touch Destiny's leg, like, yo, you was fucking wrong, dude.
People, but you prevent like 18 of the 20 from doing something, but you prevent 20 of the 80 people from doing something. You're discriminating more against the 18 out of 20, even though you're discriminating against 20 out of the 80 because the percentages are, the proportions are. It's like a stats thing.
And that's why Democratic policies never work, because they too confused and everybody gets screwed in the end.
Wait, so then why were you confused when Destiny was explaining the stats earlier?
why did you ask that question? Why did you ask that? He gone? What? Hey Sal, what made you ask that?
Huh? Oh, because they had a disagreement earlier about the per capita numbers.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
All right, thank you, Sal.
I should not do this. I'm gonna play one more point and then I'm gonna get into the video where Abba and Destiny review Saint and Sinner. I really shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna do it. What's up, God Blood? And what's up to all the new people that's coming on here and all my people who've been coming? I see y'all comments, man. If y'all got a question, you want to say anything, you know I'll post it and you know I'll answer it. I'm gonna answer this one comment. This guy just responded to me. I'm gonna crush him while I'm live, so I ain't gotta talk a lot. This last one I'm gonna play is gonna be a white woman caller about Black Lives Matter. It was the last thing I played before I walked out the door to go to work, and it fucking drove me insane. I'm gonna play that, then we'll be done with this portion.
Who else? There's a lag call for you. Courtney, you're on the air. Thanks for calling.
Hi, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I have a question for your people that approve of Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
I would really like to know, why is it that Black Lives Matter only care about when it's a white on black crime,
Good
not when
question.
it's a black on black crime?
Let me do this and then they'll respond to you. Joe have to go. He has another engagement. Joe, before you leave, I want a prediction from you because I want it from them as well. Who's going to win, Trump or Joe Biden next Tuesday?
President Trump.
Right on. Thank you for coming, man. Last word about anything?
Don't worry about what people say about you. If you feel something, just do whatever you feel. Is America, land of the free, home of the brave, except for some people, but who cares, you know? Go check my name. Check my name. All right?
What's your website, Joe?
JoeCollinsForCongress.com. It's all spelled out, no letters. I didn't make it confusing.
Thanks for coming, Joe. Okay, thank you, Joe. Who want to respond to that
I'll
question?
respond. Her name is Courtney, right?
Yeah, Courtney.
Yes, Courtney.
All right. So basically, it's not really black on black or white on white. What I've observed is the police against a black individual, you know? So it's like someone that has authority against a black individual.
But doesn't that defeat the purpose of Black Lives Matter because blacks are killing their own race?
I mean, every race kills their own race. That's a fact.
Yeah, but the Black Lives Matter movement is.
I'm gonna try to let her get her shit off as excruciating as it is to go through before I say something. But just to give you a general idea where I'm about to come from, I just want you to listen to how many times, no matter what they say to the contrary, typically you say something and then someone replies in detail. And if you have another issue with what they reply with, you would then ask something different. Your next statement or question will either be to debunk the new thing that they said or to speak on it or ask further questions on the new thing they said. All this woman is going to do the entire time is say, but why do black people only kill black people? I will never, ever get into a debate like that. I see a motherfucker keep doing that shit on. I can't deal with that because that's not a discussion. No matter what I say, you're just gonna repeat the same thing. What I tend so a lot of new people on here watching, right? But people who've been watching me, y'all know I got this thing called preaching. And what I call preaching is when someone doesn't want to have a discussion, they don't want to have a debate. They only come on your platform to just say what they feel. That's it. They just want to drill home what they what they think as if it's true. They didn't come to be open-minded. They didn't come to try to debate you and show you in detail why their point is right. They just want to fucking preach. I don't deal with preaching. I kick that motherfucker off. Watch how many times she says the same sentence no matter what they say.
Because Black Lives Matter, correct?
Well, it's
if
like
Black
you're taking.
Lives Matter,
Well, they have
why are African Americans killing their own race?
Everyone kills their own race. Like Europeans killed each other by
But
the
they don't
thousands.
stand up
So
for
it's
it.
like
They
that's a
don't-
whole different argument. So
Right.
what they're talking about is basically they don't want authority who has been, sworn to protect and serve to kill black individuals like their lives don't matter. That's
What you
all
wanna
this
know,
about.
why don't the
So
Black
she's
Lives Matter
no,
stand
but
up
she's
for the
bringing up a
blacks?
different argument, which has nothing to do with their purpose at
no,
all.
but their purpose is the fact that Black Lives Matter. So
But-
if Black Lives matter so much, then you would value your same race and you would do whatever it takes to save that race
I mean-
instead of only caring about when police or whatnot kill their race. If it's a white person, they care. But you have BLM assaulting other black people. There was just an incident in LA the other day where a black veteran was assaulted by Black Lives Matter. They stole his Trump or his American flag from him.
Okay.
Why is that tolerated? If you're really standing for something, you should stand for every single black person, not just the black people that are killed by cops.
Yeah, that
White
sounds good to someone that just wants to be right. And you just want to be right. That's all it is.
No,
So you're creating
it's a little
you're creating an
hypocritical.
argument
It's a
in your
double
mind
standard.
to just
It's a-
sound right
it's a
to go
double
against
standard.
Black Lives Matter when you know that's not the purpose. Every single race kills their own race. If you live in a close
but
proximity,
you don't feel White Lives Matter, do you?
that's not.
Do
But
you see
you're
an
oh my
organization going around saying
So-
White Lives Matter? No,
Okay,
you don't.
it's because we know in America there's no question that white lives matter. The problem with the way that we treat black lives in America is it seems like there is a lack of accountability whenever there would be extrajudicial killings of black men by white cops. That's where BLM came from. It was the holding accountable these police precincts that have a vested interest in protecting their cops when it seems like they can always get away, or a lot of the time get away with murdering black men. Everybody agrees that a black man killing a black man or woman is wrong. Nobody's debating that. Everybody agrees that when a white person is killed, it's wrong. Nobody's debating that. The reason why BLM started was was because it seemed like there was an accountability problem with police officers and being held accountable when they killed black people. That was the problem.
Districts don't
Okay,
actually show that, but I
once
but I
again,
would
it
what I
takes me
always
back to
wonder
my
about though when
original
Hold on a
point.
minute. Hold on,
If
Colin.
Black Lives Matter,
Hold on.
you guys
Hey.
for everyone.
Okay,
Oh,
hold
you
on.
can't,
all
you
right?
can't,
Hold on.
you can't do a
I don't-
movement like that.
No.
I don't
Ed, you want to respond? Go ahead.
I don't know. I've never understood why when
Hey, when
issues
it's a white cop.
of race come up, when politicians start talking about black people, they always start talking about the criminals. Like they got pictures of George Floyd, who was a criminal, like he's some kind of saint.
Yeah.
Why aren't they talking about the majority of people who are good people, hardworking people, and victims? And running, I don't understand why blacks, especially when Democrats talk about, are always talking about criminals. I don't.
This what I really, really hate about size. Like if I could just have one of three wishes, I would get rid of all the whole concept of left, right, Democrat, Republican, and let's just all be individuals and we can talk. I guarantee you a lot of people will change the way they fucking feel if they didn't feel like they had to dictate to a side. Because I guarantee you this old white man would say that he's a good person and he doesn't want people to be murdered for no reason. Yet, right here, the words out of his mouth, he's implying, hey, man, but they're criminals. It doesn't matter. Like, and what really, really fucking scuffs my Timbs is the fact that they believe in the Constitution. They believe in a law. If you believe in that, arrest someone for the crime that they did. The argument against what he's saying, it would be different if Black Americans was coming out and like, yo, Joe robbed the store, but fuck y'all. Since Joe Black, let him free. Black people aren't saying that. Black people are saying, okay, he got something on his record from the past. He's out. He went to jail for it, so he's not out now. So it doesn't matter what's on his record. We don't want a police officer to put their fucking knee on his neck and kill the guy. He doesn't deserve to be fucking murdered. But if you put it into another context, where you just talk about you don't want nobody to be murdered, everybody will say yeah. But when you turn this shit, and that's why I hate that they turn racism and the brutality from police officers on anyone. I hate when they turn that shit to a political point, because once it becomes a political bulletin, then if it's on your side, you're gonna always be for it. You're never gonna use your brain to just be a human, decent human being with morals, to know that, like, I don't care what happened in this guy past. This guy coming out of the store with an alleged $20 bill fake does not deserve to lose his life at this very moment. The reason this guy's saying this shit now because he has put his brain to a side. You can tell because he even took it back to what the Democrats do. This isn't about Democrats. This isn't about Republicans. This is about, we don't want someone to die and get murdered for no reason.
I don't get that. That's not the majority of black people.
George Floyd might have been a criminal, but that doesn't mean he deserves to be executed on the
No,
ground
I'm not.
by cops.
Yes, but it doesn't mean he doesn't mean he deserves to be
The question
geographed.
is, like, when you're an
Remember what I say? I sound like a broken record. What you say first matters. The first thing out of your mind when a guy is fucking murdered by the cops, and this is no alleged, he's been found guilty. First thing is, well, you're spray painting him with wings. If there was no such thing as conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, all that shit, if all that shit was gone, like, the first thing out of your fucking mouth would have been like, oh my God, a human being lost their life for no reason at all. The first thing out of your mouth is anger that the murdered man is being spray painted on the side of the building with wings, because you've turned police brutality against minorities into a bulletin talking points for politics. And in this political viewpoint, it is right side police, left side for the minority. To be generically speaking, I'm not going to say that everybody on each side like that, but we know we you know what I mean when I say that. If this wasn't a political fucking talking point, there's no way, I would hope you have the decency in your heart that the first thing out of your mouth wouldn't be the anger that they're putting wings on a fucking spray painting of a guy who was murdered for no reason.
activist.
He
You're
wasn't
trying to-
executed.
when he
Just
was executed.
FYI.
He was executed. He did not die of a drug overdose. He absolutely did not. Read the corner. Yeah, watch the video. Have you ever seen somebody die? Have you seen anybody? Nobody that is. Well, he very conveniently died of a drug overdose. It took 8 minutes while another cop was kneeling on his back. Okay. You can't make a movement and cover every single thing, right? If we say that BLM, well, why don't you care about black on black murders? Okay, fine, we do now. Oh, well, why don't you care about black people that die of, the flu? Or why don't you care about black people that die?
Respond to what Andrew said.
Not even that, but the problem what I got about the caller, the woman, I assume she white, but the problem I got about I have with her 6 times, and she may have said it one time before I started counting, but this 6 times she kept repeating, why do black people not care when black people die, but they care when the cops kill them? Or whatever. She even caught herself when she said it and tried to go back and say the Black Lives Matter organization. But she did try to say that black people care about that because that's what people care about it when they're on the outside looking in. Are you there in the communities when Tyrone get gunned down by goddamn Robert down the street? Black Robert guns down Tyrone and the black community is fucking furious. Are you there when his mom is crying and all these people are very angry and upset at the senseless murders in the black community between black guy to black guy? Can you name a single organization besides Black Lives Matter of the countless amount of organizations in these black communities that are there to stop the violence between black on black crime? No, you don't know shit I'm talking about because you don't have a vested interest in it. You don't care to look. You don't care to learn. You just sit on the outside and you look and go, fuck those motherfuckers. Since they killing each other, it's okay that the cop kills them. I'm tired of them talking about it. And I'm a Republican. That's why I hate with stupid motherfuckers like that. It'd be different if you cared to research and look. Even me, I saw shit so much. I'm like, yo, let me take a vested interest. Let me do a real deep dive study on what's going on with the gangs and the murders in Chicago. And when I say a vested study, I'm not talking about looking at absolute numbers or per capita numbers. That's all you motherfuckers doing outside because you don't have a vested interest because you feel like it's not happening to you. I look at the details. I look at the GDs versus the BDs. I look at the proximity that they are to each other. I look at why this group killed that group to that group to that group to how this gang started to that gang started to that gang started. And when I did a really hardcore deep dive into how all of these murders are happening in the Chicago streets, you know what I came away with in my subjective opinion? I came away with the theory of the Wild Wild West. Why? If we had the United States and we had 13 colonies and we had law and order in the state of Georgia, in the state of West Virginia, in the state of New York. But if you were to go out west to Texas and lose a goddamn spades game, they'll fucking blow your brains out with a 6-shooter and order a drink after it. Why would they kill each other so easily out west, but they wouldn't do it where the 13 colonies had settled at? Because where the 13 colonies settled at, you had law and order. You had a police force. In the cowboy days, you didn't have that. So once you got a community that sees that there are no real hardcore ramifications of murdering each other over a goddamn shootout because Sally, the prostitute, the saloon's prostitute, wouldn't let you hit it, of course that community is going to thrive. So what I saw all these murders. I saw these little kids rapping about how they killing each other. Why do they feel so emboldened to say this shit publicly? Because they weren't arresting them. The police aren't arresting them as they would if you arrest someone else. The murders aren't being solved. All these murders going unsolved. And guess when the police step in and solved it? When those black kids left that black community and went down to that famous shopping district in Chicago where white people shop at, where rich people shop at. And when he tried to buy some clothes and they pulled up on him and shot him up down there where white people are, oh, they solved that murder. They went all out to solve that murder. But that guy who was murdered there, all his friends that was murdered before that, and his friends who murdered the other people before that, and those crimes went unsolved. So when you build a community and you got the police department letting them run free, such as white people did in the cowboy days, you're going to have more murders. That has nothing to do with skin complexion. That has nothing to do with race. If you remove law and order from a community, you're going to see more crimes. That's what I learned in my subjective opinion when I cared to do a specific deep dive into the community that has the most murders. But her, She wouldn't care to do nothing like that. She'd rather sit on the outside and just continue to say for the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th time, you motherfuckers are still killing each other. So why should anybody care? I think that's it. I'm going to get into the Destiny video with Alba.
You know, I want to know if it's good for people to
Yeah.
elevate and make saints out of petty
No
criminals.
one is making a
it's
saint
not-
out of him. It's the
there's
idea that if
pictures
you
of them
mess
with
up in
wings and
America,
halos
if
all
you
over the
mess
place.
up,
That's
nobody,
just-
no,
that's
if
just
you
because
mess
they
up,
have-
you don't deserve to be killed by
I
the
never
cops.
said that,
But that's why BLM started, because it's
But the problem is so little of how you care that he died, and it's so great that you care that someone spray painted wings on him because he committed crimes in his past. That's the issue. It's your lack of humanity.
seems like people like you, it seems like people like you will come out and say, well, he was no angel, so maybe the cops
No,
should
I
have
didn't
killed
say
him.
that. I
But
didn't
you're
say that.
asking, like, why are they holding him up? Because it's a person that shouldn't have been
But how
killed
do
by a
you re-
cop
how do you
without
re-
due process.
Put the camera back on me. Oh, but they're not in front of me. Whatever. How do you respond in the black, whenever liberals, especially black and white, mention black people, it always the criminals that they make the heroes, while the good blacks look like left in the background somewhere. Why are they promoting black criminals over the good blacks?
No one's promoting anyone. They're watching video of people die by the hands of police officers when they shouldn't have to die. But if you want to go that route, we can go that route. What about Philando Castillo, the black guy whose reputation was so squeaky clean, they called him the Black Mr. Rogers in his neighborhood, the black guy who had a registered gun in his vehicle. The black guy that told the police officer, have a registered gun, after the police officer asked him to show him his license, and he was so scared of this black guy who had nothing but parking fucking tickets. Parking tickets! Shot about 8 times. Bullet holes going to the back seat to his little stepdaughter he's raising like his own. That could have easily killed her. Watched him die on camera. He didn't have a record. Why does it matter if that black guy, Philando Castillo, didn't have a record, but George Floyd did? If both cops did wrong. Sad part about it, in the case of the black guy who has no criminal record, the cop was let off. This is what politics do to people. It removes humanity because they'll do any fucking thing to stick to their side. I'm going to go to Abbott and preach, man. I have not seen this video. I'm starting it right where Destiny is trying to show Abba who the saint and sinner is. But I have not seen this. Let me try to make that screen bigger.
People because of what one man says is clearly an indication of racism. It would be sensible to respond to the individual, not attack the group.
I just know that because
Let me go back up to one comment someone said, because I just want to, they took the time to say this. I probably say your name wrong, Tonga. I watch your Destiny versus the Saint and Sinner. You really dissect both sides. Absolutely made a new fan in me. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate all the new people that's coming over, man. They should be saying that it's the systematic racism is the problem and not the white cop killing the black cop. But you know what though, man? Like one of the clips, I think when they try to put it on white cop versus black cop, I keep thinking about that white guy who went to the hotel. I think he was a pesticide worker. He was out of town on business. He had a girl in his hotel room. He had the pesticide gun. Someone saw the gun in the window and they called the cops on him, and they made that man crawl on his knees. The guy crying, scared for his life, and they got those ARs and shit pointing at him, and they fucking shot him to fucking shreds, killed him. They killed him because as he's crying, shaking, and trying to get to the police officers, as the police officers are asking, as he's crawling on his hands and knees, his fucking pants are falling down. He reached to pull his pants up, brrr, dead. All the cops got off. That's an issue. That's an issue, and he wasn't black.
Everything else about this guy's fake. So for instance, like he says he was part of like a bunch of startups and businesses and shit, right? He has a company that tried to make an app. It has less than like 500 downloads on the App Store. Like it was unsuccessful. And he moved the whole company to try to get like $50,000 in like venture capital. The guy's like broke. No offense or whatever, but like he presents himself as this like super millionaire guy. He made a fake, and originally it was called BBC documentary, or
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know that this was going on with like white people or different people. I had no idea. I just thought everybody knew that 99% of black people that are saying Black Lives Matter are just saying it as a saying that Black Lives Matter. I just thought everybody knew. And I started getting into this political shit. I'm like, holy shit. Like all they're talking about is the Black Lives Matter organization. We don't give a fuck about that. Like, you don't even have to take my word for it. Go take a camera and just walk down any neighborhood, any black neighborhood, and just call them over. Hey, man, what does Black Lives Matter mean? They're going to explain to you, that our lives matter too. And you be like, you start naming anything about organization, you're going to see majority of people looking at you weird. A lot of people don't even know it's an organization. Black people aren't saying that for a fucking organization. It's like, people who are not black are making an organization way bigger than what it is. No one gives a fuck about that shit. And they're using it to attack the organization. After they attack the organization, the conversation is closed and over with, leaving black people, the 99% of black people who are just saying that our lives matter. We want to have this conversation. We want to feel heard. But like, nah, fuck that. This topic's over with. We talk about your shitty organization. What? We don't know about an organization. I'm not even blowing the numbers out of proportion. Take your fucking camera and walk down any black neighborhood. It don't matter where, from the poor to the middle class. Most 99% of black people are just going to think that it's just a saying. We don't give a fuck about that organization. We don't care at all. I didn't even know it was this big of a deal. Like, fuck that organization. We just don't want to get murdered.
Called it a BBC interview. Does anybody have the link to this? I don't know if I have it anymore, but he made this isn't it though. Oh, hold on. BBC Emerging World Leaders. He had his $200,000 house foreclosed years ago. Oh, this whole video is fake. We can watch this again.
As we leave Jomo Kenyatta Airport, Marquette's mobile rings. The chief of police.
So this is a video the Saint and Sinner put out himself. Allegedly, the Saint and the Sinner tried to say this was a segment from the BBC, British Broadcasting, covering him. This is really bad. This is borderline pathetic. Now, I'm being nice. This is pathetic. I'm trying to be neutral, but this is fucking pathetic.
Is phoning to welcome Mr. Button to Nairobi, sharing that an armed guard will be waiting in the morning to escort Marquette wherever he wishes to go. It's a mystery as to how such a young man has so many extraordinary connections around the planet. Marquette Devon is the real-life James Bond. Of all the leaders I've documented, I've never witnessed an armed guard so taken with the person they are charged with protecting. Marquette is a man you share your
this is done by the
secrets
BBC?
with.
No, he lied and he said it was, but he didn't take BBC out of the title. But he said this was a BBC documentary on him, like interview.
What was the
And now-
BBC's involvement? If any?
None. There's none. This is just a video that he shot of himself and he paid for a woman to do a voiceover. All this shit is shit he wrote.
Is a man you share your secrets with and laugh with. Marquette Devon Burton is enchanting and bold and kind. The Kenyans literally rolled out the red carpet for Mr. Burton's arrival.
All right, this is subjective, and y'all know I do not like saying this fucking word, if you're not qualified. So it takes a whole lot. I'm not one of these people that throws the word around freely. It takes a really large amount. If you don't know me, I preach it against anybody saying it. But like, when I listen to the words that this lady is saying that he wrote for her to say, the disconnect from the saint and sinner's brain to not realizing how pathetic this would sound to people, I'm like, feel like I'm forced to say narcissist. You gotta like go deep with this shit. This man thought that these were the words that would be said about someone on the British Broadcasting Network channel, the biggest channel in like Great Britain. He thought that these were credible words. This is someone extremely disconnected from society via narcissism. Like, I'm telling y'all, if y'all new here, my audience said, I don't like when people throw the word narcissist around like it's some cool shit, but like, let me rewind it a little bit. And I just want y'all to listen to this, but I want y'all to think about him at his computer editing this and writing this. And in his brain, he's thinking he is so much smarter than all of us that we would believe these are the actual word a professional journalist would say on a documentary segment on the British Broadcasting Channel. Oh my fucking God.
Guard will be waiting in the morning to escort Marquette wherever he wishes to go. It's a mystery as to how such a young man has so many extraordinary connections around the planet. Marquette Devon is the real-life James Bond. Of all the leaders I've documented, I've never witnessed.
Hey, Saint and Sinner, if you see this, I have a question. If the security guard you're running behind while this girl films you was really protecting you, wouldn't he walk behind you? We're not even talking about somebody shooting you. Somebody literally right now, while I got the screen paused, can lick their entire hand and smack your ass in the back of the fucking head like you need to be smacked. And he'd be none the wiser. Wouldn't he be behind you, man?
It's a mystery as to how such a young man has so many extraordinary connections around the planet. Marquette Devon is the real-life James Bond. Of all the leaders I've documented, I've never witnessed an armed guard so taken with the person they are charged with protecting. Marquette is a man you share your
this is done by
secrets
the
with.
BBC?
No, he lied and he said it was, but he had to take BBC out of the title. But he said this was a BBC documentary on him, like interview.
What was the
And now-
BBC's involvement? If any?
None, there's none. This is just a video that he shot of himself and he paid for a woman to do a voiceover. All this shit is shit he wrote.
Is a man you share your secrets with and laugh with. Marquette Devon Burton is enchanting.
There's an awesome fucking documentary about that building, though, right there, man. I've seen on YouTube.
And bold and kind. The Kenyans literally rolled out the red carpet for Mr. Burton's arrival. He is an enigmatic figure, a businessman and a boxer, an author,
VIPs.
a stoic and a poet, and above all, a philosopher, a leader in reforming global human culture. He's written a 3-sentence Bible. Be yourself. Be good to yourself. Be good to good people. And here he is living that.
Hey, shout out to Nairobi. Let's go.
He is Mr. Rogers of the modern era. There is much that is wrong in the world today, but there is only one who is doing something to make change around the world,
The only
to
one.
ensure that boys grow into strong men and leaders, and that girls grow into ladies, great mothers, excellent wives, and productive citizens.
What a guy. He also did a crypto rug pull on his audience for guess how much money?
How much?
Throw out one figure you think. What would he scam his audience for? How much?
Scam?
Yeah.
So
He made a YouTube video promoting like you guys should join this crypto fund. It would be like super sick. And then the next day all the money came out and it crashed.
You check the wallet inside?
Yeah, people can see that the funds were all transferred to him.
That's
Yeah.
actually wild.
If everything it was for $2,000. $2,000.
This is wild.
But anyway, yeah, that's that guy. He's actually fake. When in the middle of our debate, he pulled out like a watch that he was selling for his friend in the hospital. It was like insane. Like, yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know much about his background and stuff like that. I've seen a few videos and I enjoyed those. So those are some of the ones that I've seen.
Mhm.
So all this is all new info.
I clearly don't.
But I did watch the debate. The debate was wild to watch.
Yeah, 116.45. Look at this shit in the middle of our debate. Hold on.
Like a real narrative of a guy who was
There's no way you can throw up a 900 before you
practicing
get to this guy? Are you
homosexuality
serious?
in a ghetto long time ago when it was not very.
How much you know about this guy's anti-Semitic too?
He taught me a lot,
We bought
but he also gave me a unique perspective. So definitely recommend checking that out. You can get the Black Box on Amazon. Way more important than that, I want you guys to, if you're a religious person, pray for one of the saints. He's actually in hospital right now. If you're not a religious person, send some positive wishes. He produces this right here. And the reason I want to mention this is because Daniel John, who's a good man, a very strong man. I know I've had him in my house. I've shook his hand. He's in the hospital right now, and he produces this product, which we sell for him at thesassin.com. He sold some of these to you guys. You guys have supported him, but he can't mail them out right now because he's in the hospital. And so I trust that he's going to make a full recovery because he's a strong man.
Okay, we're going to get this 900.
And I would love if when he gets out, we can send him a big check for all of these.
So it's weird.
Coming for the 900.
So,
Yeah, what?
What was weird about this clip?
He's like, his friend is in the hospital supposedly, and he's saying that he like makes these like medallion things or this jewelry that you can like buy from the store. But I guess he might die, and I don't know. There's no guarantee he's going to sell it to you. But it's just shilling for his friends like merch while he's like in the hospital. That's just very funny to me. I don't know. It seems a little bit weird.
Okay.
Everything about this guy reeks of like scam artists. Aside from like the fake BBC video, the fake website that he made of him.
Yo, wait till Destiny finds when Destiny finds Duke the Don, it's gonna be very bad for the Saint Center. Again, I'll post Duke the Don's channel again right here.
Himself to say that he has $100 million net worth. The $2,000 like rug pull that he did when we were on stream, he kept saying that like he's done conferences. He's a technologist, whatever the that means. I was trying to ask him what an NFT was, and he obviously didn't know. And then he started to say that he educated people on making and building NFTs, whatever the that means.
And so I told him like enough tea, like NFT, like NFT, like what is an NFT? What is an NFT?
Real quick, can you guys stop trying to join the chat because it's full and it keeps on popping up. So if you guys can remove, stop trying to join.
Yo, he should tell Abba. He don't tell Abba that he tried to build it from the command prompt.
Kind of like blocking my view.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Talk to me.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for a lot of the work that you do actually on here, because I used to be a Destiny fan, but I learned that it was actually kind of silly because that's actually a girl's name. So I don't know. It seemed really feminine of him to like do that type of stuff online.
Okay.
And I really think a lot of the indoctrination that he does online.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like the art of the debate, like because I watch Saint and Sinner and I see his extreme confidence, just even on this part right here. He doesn't know what to do. You know, he wants to show I'll let people on, but what they're coming on, putting down Destiny. So you can see the Saint and the Sinner's brain twirling. Like I can only imagine, in my opinion, his heart is beating fast right now because he's like, he doesn't know who to trust or if they're trolling him. But he puts people down like he's the smartest man in the fucking world. But he's flustered right now.
Just really pathetic. I think it's really ridiculous. And he actually also doesn't know what an NFT is. So I was wondering if you could explain it to me.
These guys are awesome. I like these guys.
Like if you started at the beginning, how much confidence he has to how he's talking right now. He is just out of his whole fucking element.
Talk to me.
Oh, shit.
Hey, Marquette. All right, so I got the command prompt open. What command do I have to put into make an NFT? Because
So for example,
all right,
if
I
you
got
generate Solana, do you know how to generate Solana?
Solana. No, what command do I have to?
Oh, silly buddy. Oh, yeah. We got a black one. This is good.
A black one?
Yeah.
What?
Destiny does. I don't know. I mean, did you see the Jesse Lee Peterson interview? You had to be asked a lot if you liked black people. So I'm sorry. I'm really starting to doubt if he does. No, seriously. I've been watching him for a very long time, and I followed a lot of things from his life, and now I'm actually really starting to doubt everything. So I don't know. But you mentioned Solana, right? That you can generate. Generate Solana wallet. Do you know how to do that?
So you're at this point, you're done engaging with it.
Yeah. No, I think he's actually a scam artist. Yeah, I don't engage with that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's no point. Like Okay, but also hold on. This is important. Let's see what you got.
What is this? What am I doing here? I've seen you play this game. What is this game?
You're gonna hit the enter key.
And what am I doing?
You're gonna see if you can stay on beat.
Was this it? I don't want to see them play a game. Fuck this game.
What else? Fuck, I wrote something down earlier. Actually, no.
Would accuse me of simping and trying to fuck her. Every single person would. Because like, how are you going to bring a guy on that's platforming Nick Fuentes, that's doing all this blah, 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 right? Or look at like people would say that. But I mean, like, it is what it is. Also, I still stand by the idea that, and you've heard her speak, people confuse intelligence with so many things. She's intelligent, but she has dog shit takes. She's got a shitty personality. She's easily controlled and manipulated or whatever. But like, she seems like she's read on some shit. Like, she doesn't sound stupid, right? And you've seen her, as mad as these people get, she gets in these debates with like 4 or 5 people at a time, and she runs circles around like 3 people trying to nail her down on a point, right? So she's not stupid. Same thing with Max. Max is not
He's talking about the hateful black woman.
stupid. They're just a little fucking crazy.
Okay,
and
so
like,
maybe their definitions of intelligence and like wisdom.
Yeah, they think that like intelligence is like agrees with me or has like good opinions or is in STEM or some shit like that. I guess. I don't know.
Do you think that she's actually able to think through these concepts and like be really well developed with them, or do you feel like she's just regurgitating stuff that she's like learned from like feminists?
Right now, it's regurgitation, but she's.
So how much of that is intelligence?
Even being able to. Okay, here's a question.
Go for it, yeah.
You've seen me be on Fresh and Fit. How many of those girls could regurgitate even the shit she says?
Yeah, but that's a pretty low barometer. But I don't disagree.
Yeah, I know. So I think that like here's the thing.
Average population, you probably feel like she's probably a little.
Absolutely.
Okay, I
like,
can agree with that.
Yeah. But like she's in an environment right now that's very conducive towards.
I don't know how I feel about this. Remember, I haven't seen this because I know who you're talking about, like, of what Destiny is trying to say what intelligence is, because this woman admitted that she gets flustered when she is debating someone and she doesn't know how to form her sentences or say her words correctly. And that's one of the reasons she likes Destiny, because she can't do it. If you can't like say how you feel, and then you agree that she has shitty viewpoints that she only regurgitates from one feminist movement, I don't know if I would call that intelligence just because she can recite this stuff from another group. I think it's the focus you put. So when you say like the dumb, quote unquote dumb women that are on Fresh and Fit, I think that you can take any of those women, and if I were to put them down and hammer in the fucking strong feminist viewpoint, and they'd be able to regurgitate the same thing back. But if she can't articulate it and say how she feels the way she feels, like I don't know. I don't find anything intelligent in that.
Never like improving or learning. 100%.
Okay.
Like guaranteed. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I would concede on that point. I think
You say go to like 123. Like, let me know the exact time stamp and I go to it. Go to 1 hour and 23 minutes. Yeah, you talk about Annalicia. He's talking about live. Okay, I haven't watched the live video, so if you watch this, I don't know you, so my bad. I thought he was talking about Annalicia. But let me know what timestamp to go to, and I'll go to it.
was it Supreme who said this? But do you ever get tired of all the memes of you bringing out people on and people assuming like you've had some kind of relationship with them?
So here's where I stand on that. I fuck a lot and I enjoy that and it's fun.
Yeah.
But and the problem is people never believe when I say this. Like, there are people that I've had sexual relations with that I'll bring on stream and like I'll light them up and they say some dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like, I have I can cast a wide net and catch a lot of fish, so I don't need to like drown to try to get one. Like, people are gonna assume that I'm gonna like simp for somebody or like change my opinion but like my integrity online is more important than like fucking one individual person.
I would be interested to hear why does Destiny like Anna Alicia so much. I would be interested in that. He says go to 123.52. Thank you, man.
Because I always have sex with
Let me hear him say this point. I go to 123.52.
other people. Why the fuck would I care? So like the things that bother me is that, one, the assumptions about having sex with people is weird because there's just no reason for it. Like, whether I do or don't shouldn't be a topic of discussion.
It shouldn't be a topic of discussion. Why?
Because
it shouldn't be the topic of discussion unless they're talking about sex with people. If they talk about anything else, political or society, who he has sex with doesn't matter.
It's making assumptions that, one, can be offensive or degrading to the other person, and two, it shouldn't be relevant to what's on stream.
Okay, I could see that being true for you because I know how peculiar you are.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that's necessarily true for the people you're interacting with, one. And two, it doesn't mean that's not generally true for most people.
Yeah, I
would argue most folks who would fuck another creator or another streamer of sorts and then have conversations, it definitely colors the way that they talk to each other.
Yeah, it definitely can for a lot of people. I agree with that 100%.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
For
And
sure.
so you might feel like you're immune to it. And let's say you're 100% are. It doesn't mean that the person who's interacting with you is. Like, I watch the way Lav talks to you and the way she talks to me. It's different.
Yeah.
It is. She's hyper flirty and like, so even some of the stuff that she alludes to.
You're that is true, but in the end, who did she end up simping for harder? It was the guy that she didn't have a sexual relationship with. It was Mr. Girl, right?
Right, but that's for some other psychological reasons.
Sure, no, I'm just saying at the end of the day, like, it might be that there are some, but there are also people like Brittany, for instance, is one of the people that I'm the most flirty with on stream. We have no sexual relationship, never have, not even remotely anything. So I mean, like, I don't know. I just think like there's sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It might make other people treat me differently. That's possible for sure.
Right.
But there might also be girls that treat me differently because they want to fuck me. We haven't. And I can't control that. Like, at the end of the day, like, if somebody is making consistently like dog shit arguments or dog shit things, they're probably just going to show up on stream because people are going to light them up, and it is whatever. Like, that'll.
I ain't gonna lie, because I don't want the bullshit. And I know how women are. I would not bring a woman on the stream that I had sex with in a debate. Now that I said that, I got to think about who I've let on my streams in the past. I probably already have. But like, I don't think it was in a debate though. I'm sure I've had somebody on that I've had sex with before on one of my channels, but I can't think right now. It's kind of bad.
It'll just happen naturally over time.
Okay, so if you're so here's the next question. If you're flirty with people, okay, on stream, flirt with women specifically, generally, okay, and you have fucked some of them and you haven't fucked some of them. The issue becomes once they know you have fucked some of them, they're going to assume you fucked most of them.
Or all of them, yeah.
Or all of them.
Yeah.
And it's not totally unreasonable to assume that because you haven't engaged in that behavior before.
Sure.
And so I think once they understand that that's happening, yeah, I mean.
But still, though, like, the only way I would care, like, if I was on Destiny stream and I would assume from this conversation he's had sex with Lav, the only way I would care even a little bit would be if they were double teaming me. But even if they were double teaming me, like, I'm still gonna listen to the words out of their mouth. I'm still gonna debate their actual points. I'm gonna be conscious of it that like they could be leaning towards each other because they had sex. It could be a possibility, but even if that's a possibility or not, I'm still gonna, whatever the fucking words they say, I will debate the words coming out of their mouth.
I mean, the reality is that like there have been guys that I've brought on that if they were women, people would say it's all simping. Fuentes, Mr. Girl, and Sneeko are three people that if they were women, I would never hear the end of my community.
I'll concede that.
All three of them. And then there are girls that I've brought on that I've had sexual relationships with that like Lab, for instance, is one of them. And I'm like screaming at her, shut up, you stupid bitch. So it's like, it's not like I'm simping for these girls that I've like had sex with.
That's fair.
It just, yeah. But I mean, like, I understand why people might get the perception, but yeah, I don't know. But the weird thing too is I have to be careful about the like, well, I haven't even had sex with this person. I haven't had sex, because if I say that too much, eventually they're going to ask about somebody, and I'm going to have to be like.
And then should he have to reveal everyone he had sex with just for a fucking debate if it doesn't have anything to do with sex? Like, I hate to be in a position like if I'm inviting all these women on, like, and I gotta tell everybody I have not had sex with her, but I had sex. Fuck that shit. You don't need to know my personal life.
Like, I can't comment on that. And they're like, oh, well, you could comment on the other one, so that means you did, right?
Yeah.
So like, I accidentally leaked yesterday that me and Dan have fucked a lot. We have an active sexual relationship, you know?
Hey.
So yeah, so it's at some point I can't even like really talk. We got a super chat coming in from my biggest fan.
You know, justice will not truly be served until these people are put down. You know, and that's when it'll really be put. You know, justice will really be served. And I do want to be clear that anyone that associates with the enemy is the enemy. I don't want to hear anyone say like, "Oh, Marquette, I listened to both of you guys. We're completely ideologically incompatible."
I guess I turned into the enemy real quick.
Thanks.
How did this thing get so deep so fast?
He made some video responding to me, I think saying something dumb, and then I was like, oh, we should do a debate. And he's like, okay, let's do it. And then the whole debate he was like, Steven, I'm just like getting some basic information about you. Is it true that you quit college because you were a lazy loser? And I'm like, well, I mean, it's no. Answer the question. And I'm like, well, I mean, like I was working. Oh, no.
So this is an example right here of what I'm saying. Like, I think that Saint and Sinner is caught between trying to appease two different communities. And when I say two different communities, I don't mean appease Destiny's community. I think he's trying to appease the way you put someone down and gain viewership in the Red Pill community that he's in. Even though he don't have all Red Pill talking points, he's still in that community. But the way you would look good in that community is you do those ad hominems. You do put people down. You try to overcompensate and look like super alpha and shit. But at the same time, he wants people to feel that he's one of the smartest people on the entire fucking planet. And when you engage in people who debate all the time, or you engage with people who generically others just feel are intelligent, his tactics come across as absurd. You can see it from the look on Abba's face when, you know, he said like these people should be put down because these guys debate all the time. They're rational. That this is borderline insane. This is so unnecessary. You guys are strangers that don't know each other. You know, you don't have to take it this far. Like, no one's like a pedophile or no shit like that. It's just you're two people with two different viewpoints. And now you're saying that someone should be moved from the face of this earth. It's so extreme that I don't think that the Saint and Sinner really recognizes what it does to his reputation.
No. It's a tier 5 school, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's from music. No. Okay. Is it true that you abandoned your child like a lazy deadbeat father? And I'm like, well, I mean, no, I was there until no. That's like the whole interview.
Your neighbors must.
Yeah, they must, dude. I feel bad for him. I'm like, okay.
Why are you so loud? You don't have to be that loud.
I do have to be that loud. Oh, and I compressed it today, so now it doesn't burst the ears. So now I can be as loud as I want.
Why? Oh my god, I feel so bad. Luckily, it's probably only below you. Are you in a corner?
No. I'm in a corner. You walked up here, motherfucker.
Well, I don't know, like how the shape of this.
There's a whole building over there. There's a whole part of the building. Thank God, not here. When I get complaints, I leave.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you haven't had complaints.
Wow.
That's unfortunate.
Are you strapped up yet?
Oh my God, I have a sick shotgun back there.
No, are you strapped up? You got to have a piece
no,
that you
I
carry
don't.
with you.
I need to bring mine up for Nebraska, but
it's not hard to get it here. And then, you know,
I'm just lazy.
Put down.
Yeah, so I guess that's it for them talking about that discussion. So yeah, as you can see, I didn't watch it, so I guess majority of the video, it had nothing to do with the actual topic involved. You know, ABBA is in California right now because I just saw ABBA on No Jumper stream. He had the same outfit he has on at Destiny's House, so he's out of town. I would be curious, you know, because ABBA doesn't really like people who come across as like scammers and trying to get over in the community. And knowing that ABBA does not like Fresh and Fit, and the Saint and Sinner is with Fresh and Fit, I'd be curious to know if he gonna go home to Canada and get with Preach, and then do a real deep dive on Saint and the Sinner. Like, you got to be careful with the way you interact online. You know, you don't really know the outcome of what you do when you start to go mess with different kind of people, man. You know, but yeah, man. That's it for my video. If that's the end of this right here, just want to talk about, I will put the timestamp on here since people complain like, yo, that's weird to me, bro. I got a life. I did a 3-hour stream and somebody complained, where are the timestamps? You got to watch that 3-hour video again and put the timestamps on it. So you wanted me to do a 3-hour stream on a weekend. My children, I got a life. We do a 3-hour stream. As soon as it's over, we go back and put the time. No, I'm not doing all that, bro. I may go back and do it later, but I'm not doing all that. I will put the timestamp since my video is titled about ABBA and Destiny doing this with the Saint and Sinner. I will put that timestamp on and put the debate timestamp on, but that's pretty much it. ABBA and Preach may have to deal with Devon Sharp. I guess I got to look into whoever that is. Shout out to all the new people that came over, man. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And John Rhymes will see you guys later. Asante. My dog snoring.